HR, Core HR, the company. Thank you for being there. Don't forget, this podcast is a presentation, is presented today by Why, the best way you have for the payments and the Axie Bloom community of creators today. And don't forget that we have this 18% of people that watch this show, watch all this content, and have subscribe and like the channel, and that's something that makes us grow and having the best the best people here to create the best content for you. And and actually that's gonna be growing all the time. And we have today Yuri Sanz. Thank you very much, Yuri, for being here. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Great. So, uh, an introduction. How was the spark for Yuri to have an HR company that helps other businesses thrive in the HR world today?
Yeah, well, I have over 20 years experience in human resources, and really, everything in my career has really always been about people. I've seen how people in the right environment can really, really thrive, and how one thing in an environment can really hold them back, right? So what I wanted to do is create an environment, create an organization that helps businesses grow, helps get to their goals, and not really worry about some of the risk and things that they might not even know exist or could exist. So we primarily focus on a lot of small businesses and really helping them be part of their development and their growth and their journey, while giving the operators that opportunity to really run the business, and allowing us to really mitigate any sort of risk, or allow them to do their part.
Great, great. And also your your background also in HR. You have a
Right.
great experience right now, but right now as entrepreneurs, we have this. What what are the core the core things that we as entrepreneurs, when we think about HR, what's the first thing that we should be aware of?
I think it's creating the right habits. I think as entrepreneurs, again, we our focus is on the long term goal, right, and kind of where we want to be in that longevity in the product or the service that we're developing. But we often forget as we start scaling that there are practices and habits that we should create from the beginning to ensure that, again, that we minimize any sort of risk as the organization starts to grow, right? Whether it's our hiring practice, how we handle situations with employees that we might have on board that we might have to offboard, creating those right habits from the beginning, and putting the HR piece as an equal part of importance as anything else that's scalable, right? Whether it's finance and accounting and all these things that come with it, having the HR piece in the beginning, and again, creating those really great habits on how to do things right will allow an entrepreneur to be that much more successful in their journey, in their path as they scale.
For Yuri Sands, what is leadership? Where start leadership an entrepreneur that is just starting?
I think leadership is all about listening. As an entrepreneur, you get to meet a lot of great people in this journey that you're creating, whether they're working directly with you or they're part of the journey externally. And understanding that people are always going to give advice, and what one should always do is listen to that advice. You never know what sort of advice, who you might run into, whatever social setting, as an example, and see what pieces they might bring to the table that you can take back, and use. And I think as a leader, as you develop and grow, it's not just about yourself, right? It's about that team that's working with you for this goal. So for me, I have a great team of folks that work with me, and it's about us, right? So it's I don't stand in front of a client and say, I can do this for you. I stand in front of a client and say, we can do this for you, right? And this is how we can deliver this product for you. So I think, the leadership piece, it kind of ties into like our mission and the way that the reason why we started this is kind of the human aspect of it, right? How you
Correct.
get, how you get there, how you get through this journey. If it's I, there's a really good chance you're not going to be that successful. If it's a we, if you listen to the environment, your internal and external environments, that'll make you that much more of a successful leader.
Yuri, it was it was a turning point in your career. What was this turning point or this aha moment that you decided, okay, I gotta have this HR company to provide this service? What was this turning point in your career?
I had a business professor years and years and years ago in my undergrad that said, if you have an idea, there's 1,000 other people that have the same idea and that are probably, steps and steps and steps ahead. For me, it really was, going into organizations and I worked for global organizations, national organizations, as well as local organizations, and seeing that they're all one and the same, right? There's so much help and needed and things that have to be done coming in. You would imagine that, and I heard this, at a conference I went to, one from the MBA, their head of talent said, you look at us as the MBA and you think that that we're functional, that we have everything right, and we're no different than any other company, right? We have the same struggles as everyone else. So my aha moment really was, how can I turn what I've been doing for other organizations, this one-off, into a company that can help more than one organization, that can really help different folks, whether it's an entrepreneur that's starting their business or a mid-sized company, really help them, get them to a better place. And again, it's all about mitigating risk and making sure that they have the people centric, that they think about their people and that environment, because again, they're only going to be as successful as that environment that they create.
Yeah, absolutely. And what is the main differentiator for your company to say,
Yeah.
okay, HR core group, it's is my best option because of
Yeah.
what?
We want to be part of an organization's ecosystem, and I think that's really what I think. From an HR standpoint, we've all worked with consultants in the past, and a lot of times for these consultants, they don't know you. They don't know who you are. They're coming in, doing a project, and leaving, and kind of letting you kind of figure it out. And for us, we want to be an extension of who we are as a business. So we take the time to really learn the business. Nothing we do is so there's nothing that we say, hey, this works here, we're going to do this here. We want to listen to the organization. What do you really need? We're not going to sell you the world. We're going to sell you what you really need. Analyze it together, learn who you are, learn your culture, your vision. What got you to where you are, what your 5-year plan is, and from there we'll help you through. We're not just we're done with the topic. We'll be there to help you put it together. Let us help you implement it and get you through the whole piece of it. So we're going to be more like in that internal piece versus the consultant who comes in. Yeah, I bill you for 2 or 3 hours, and then I'm out. That's not who we are.
Great, great. And also, Yuri, the challenges we have right now. This is an economy with tariffs, with all with a trade war right now, an economic a worldwide economic war that we're experiencing in the US and all over the world. So for your company to get into this environment and have this this kind of this sort of situation between clients and what is happening, what
Mhm.
are the challenges on the part of you as the core manager and CEO of a company with that turns people
Yeah.
people and have these conversations about, okay, this is our environment and how are we going to go into that.
Yeah, I think for us, we're a service business, right? So for us, we are not necessarily impacted by those things, but our clients are. And really the goal for us, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, is to take away the stress of everything else that's happening in the environment, right? that for them, if we're working with a client that has to import from India or wherever the case is, they have so many worries and so much additional costs. Our goal really is to work with the client and try to help them how we can mitigate, again, potential risk, how we can help them, as a business, really help them thrive. So for us, it's we're coming in from a different tone. We work again with a lot of small businesses, and I think working with small businesses, it really takes a certain level of stress off that entrepreneur's shoulder, and it really allows us to be a partner and help them from an HR standpoint, guide them through that journey that again could potentially be a risk. And now they have not just a tariff to worry about, but now they have a lawsuit or whatever the case might come up. So we help navigate through parts of the business to allow them to really focus on the others.
How, Yuri, how we connect AI with humans? How is this this sort of leveraging in
Yeah.
your perspective?
I think that we should capitalize on the AI. I think AI is a great tool that helps us be more efficient, more effective, and really be able to embrace it because it's here today and it's going to continue to be here. So one of the things that I tell my team today is, let's embrace it. Let's use AI, to really help us in how we work, and then educate our operators as to how AI can right? So we're developing products, we're developing different things to deliver to our clients. It's all about that education piece, right? So on our end, we'll use it to kind of navigate through common things, and then educating the operator to say, hey, this is the blueprint, for you for your organization as to what you should be doing and how AI or the tools around AI can really support you.
You use like a digital tool for your clients, maybe helping them on the engagement, the performance, how it works that with core HR.
Yeah, so we have a project management tool that we manage, and we share that with our clients. That's something they can track progress of different projects, different deliverables, different things. That way, they're full transparent. So we believe in transparency in everything we do. Again, we're not a consultant that's going to come in and you don't know what we're doing and yet billing you for 5 hours. We'll have full transparency in our process, our projects, and everything. So we work with our clients with a project management tool that gives them that visibility into where the project is, where we are, how close we are to finishing it, and then again having conversations and different touch points through the journey.
The competences, the specialties that you provide in core HR, it's focused more on certain certain fields, or you have a niche on that side of people.
We don't have a certain niche because our clients, we've been very blessed, have been wide array. We the team here at Corey Tar, we have experience from working with governments to working in maritime to working with airlines. I mean, we have a lot of knowledge and clients that we've brought to the table. So, anyone who needs help, it's we're here at Human Advocacy, right? And again, I think what I learned from my parents growing up and kind of their professions and what they did, right, is again, we're not going to sell you the world. They do it just to make money. We're going to tell you what you need. And if you're doing things that are right, we'll tell you what's working and what's working. Right. And again, I think that kind of goes back to earlier we talked about the differentiator, what makes us different. And it's the ecosystem, but it's also making sure that we're honest and we're transparent in what we do, across the board.
Yuri, in your perspective and with your company, what are those HR on human resources, those mistakes that the managers and the entrepreneurs are making on your perspective? What are those?
I think that they're thinking about HR too late, right? Again, as we start to scale as entrepreneurs, and you go from being yourself to now having, your first employee, then your second, your third, you know, hiring practices. I think it's a big one. A lot of times, again, where the entrepreneurs are focused on the goal, they're trying to bring in someone that can do the job, but they don't think about, does this person fit the culture that I'm trying to build here in this organization, right? So So they'll hire someone based off of literally just the resume, their skill set, and not really bring in somebody for the totality of who they are, which is also who they are as a person. And how are they going to work in that relationship? I think another piece is also the offboarding, right? So as we grow and we have to offboard employees because maybe they just weren't the right fit or whatever the case is, how do you navigate that? How do you document those pieces? How do you then eliminate the risk? So I think entrepreneurs really struggle with onboarding, the hiring, the compliance, and offboarding. I think those are the big pieces that are not taught early enough. And again, it goes back to what I said earlier in the conversation. We develop great habits from the beginning, right? With that first person that we hire. When we're scaling, we have three, four, 5,000 employees now that the businesses are huge. We've set the right practices in place, from the beginning, and we're not being reactive.
Also, in the side of when we see many platforms, many websites that are creating an environment to hire people, for example, Fiverr, Upwork. What is this this connection between your experience and how we can leverage our company with those kind of tools, Yuri?
I think when you're looking at partners to work with, whether it's a hiring site or whatever it is making sure that it works for your business. I think a lot of times, again, what happens early on in their careers is, or an entrepreneur's career, is that they try to jump into maybe something that's trending, something that's hip. And I compare vendor kind of to like a cruise ship. I used to work in the cruise lines for a long time, and people used to say, well, what's the best one to go on? And it's up to you. It depends as to what you want to get out of it. So, every site, every partner, everything that you work with, I think it depends as to what you want to get out of it. Because again, you're going to have options for everything, but it's really going to be, what that driver is for you as an organization. So to make a decision to use which site is best, which vendor is best, and so on and so forth.
What is gonna be a leadership lesson that you learned the hard way, Yuri?
I think for me, in the beginning, as a young leader, understanding that it's more than just me. I think as a young leader, you struggle to delegate. You want to show off the role that you're in. Um, and I learned that that's not the case. As I mentioned earlier in the conversation, I learned that it's all about the team. I'm not always going to be the smartest person in the room, and that's okay. There are people that will work for me that are going to be geniuses, and be professionals. And as a leader, we need to learn to listen. And, I tell this to my teams all the time before I leave today. I'm not here today because I'm here today because I've worked with phenomenal people along this journey that have allowed me to get to where I am today. So I think the biggest lesson, was it's not just about me, it's about being part of the team, working together as a team, because you're only going to be, here's that, you're only going to be as strong as the team. Right? So we all have to be on the same page. We all have to be moving forward together. We all have to listen to it and embrace very constructive conversations. Again, I'm not always right, and that's okay. And that's why we surround ourselves with leaders, with team members that can do the job with other different perspectives and career experience to the table to allow us all to flourish.
Right, right, Yuri. Book a book that has a you have point or have point your career, your life, a book, a mentor as well, Yuri, in your career.
So I'm a talk about an author. Her name is Carol Quinn. I learned about her many years ago. Read her book. Um, Carol Quinn is phenomenal. She talks about when it comes to interviewing, they talk about behavior based interviewing, and for her, so she brings to the table, and her research and her books is about motivational based interviewing. So what's motivating somebody to be here today, to want to do this job, right? So you might have an accountant who has 20 years experience but might hate what they do, but you might have somebody who has 10 years experience as an accountant who might wake up every morning and their driver is they have a passion for what they do, right? So that's the kind of person what you're looking for. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier, making sure that we're hiring the right person. As an entrepreneur in a growing business, because we want to make sure we hire the right person versus just hiring somebody for that skill set. So Carol Quinn has been a huge influence. I've seen her in person multiple times in conferences. She has great books that are out there, but she's one of my favorite authors.
Great, great, and also we have a question in this podcast. Always, you answer if you want, right now, because of the changing economy and the technology involved. And this is a podcast for business intelligence, and just we our team and I, we like to make this question. Um, do you own Bitcoin?
I don't own Bitcoin. I have other crypto that I own, but not Bitcoin.
Okay, perfect, Yuri. And also, also, in the side, well, it's a journey right now. It's a journey to think about HR, and also with startups. What is your take on the human resources when you're just starting, Yuri? When you have just an idea and then you say, okay, I'm gonna try to build my team and have this intuition and have the right person that, or the right company to tell me, okay, in my case, I am developing right now with a little team, an app for content creation. So we think, okay, we need more people, but is this moment where you find yourself like, okay, but what can I do to be really effective on this journey to find the right fit, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, and I
in
think
this
and I think
moment.
I think that's exactly where Core HR can come in and fit it. We're a partner, right? We mentor. We have all different offerings and things that we do. We're a thought partner. We will have kind of conversations as to kind of, you talked about yourself, small teams, you're growing, what are some of the things maybe, that like you haven't done yet. And then these will be, conversations that we'll have to understand kind of your journey, where you've been, what you're doing now, where you want to be. And what are some of the, maybe the gaps that we identify that again, that can help you create those healthy habits early on in this, right? Because the goal for you is to hopefully turn this into $1 billion company. But in order to get there, again, I think, having HR, having a company like ours, you know while you're setting the foundation and the bricks for your company, is exactly what entrepreneurs need, right? I think that, again, that's what makes us a little bit different, right? We're not your average consulting company that's coming in here for $100,000 things. Like, we're coming in for the little things and how we can help you, again, as an early on thought partner, thinker, and so forth.
And Yuri, how we contract? We have a contract with HR Core Group. How it works? That it's like, how you navigate through what's gonna be the expenses for the company, and all the fees. What is the structure of that?
So the fees are different. It depends on the client. Again, it goes back to what the need is. It could be something as simple as maybe we could touch points with that entrepreneur. It could be process development. It could be 5-year business planning. It really depends as to what the need is. We it, the fees would vary, to be quite frank. But you can find information about us on our website at corechargroup.com. I think that's a great avenue for a lot of information. Tells you what are some of the businesses that we partner with, what are some of the services that we offer, how to contact us. Our website has a lot of really good information. It's continuing to develop. We're creating an HR hub where we're going to put free things on there and templates for companies to download and use, as well. So we're going to continue to develop that, but that's our best platform for you to kind of learn more about us.
Great, great, great. And also, I think for human resources, it's so it's been during the last 10 years. I think with social media, what is the take in your side, Yuri, for HR and social media? What is the correlation and the challenges for entrepreneurs navigating social media and human resources with all the changes that we're experiencing right now, Yuri?
Yeah, I mean, I think social media can be a blessing, and I think it also could be a curse. Right? I think with anything, um, on our side, we talk about employer branding, and it's going to be really really important, to use social media to really, showcase your brand, showcase your culture, create that branding piece, not just for sales, but to show future folks that are going to work for you as an organization, kind of what this organization is all about. And I think that's going to be great. But we also have to be careful, how we use it, and what we post and what we do, especially young entrepreneurs coming into a building something of their own, and what they publish and what they post. Because it's always discoverable, right? So we always encourage, if we have any sort of functions, just be cautious how you post it, what you post. But I think it could be a blessing when it comes to developing, not just your culture or your brand from uh, a sales standpoint, but really, creating that culture and that brand to show prospective future employees, who you are as an organization.
Well, now when we maybe focus on one of those social media, maybe the most important in the HR perspective and world, I think LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
There's many ways to build know, like, and trust in LinkedIn as an entrepreneur and as a company. What's your take on LinkedIn? What's the first step companies gotta have in mind for LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think creating a company page is going to be big. Again, I think that's where you start telling your journey. We have our LinkedIn page, Corey Charter. We try to post regularly on there. We post different articles, different things. And having engagement. We engage with the audience. If we do a post and someone has a comment, we comment there. We engage in different group settings through the organization on there, as well, where we're in different groups. So I think it's important to use LinkedIn, because again, I think that's part of your journey, part of your brand, and that's where employees are today.
Yuri, where do you see core HR group in 5 years?
I see us, on the same track that we've been, right? I think, that we stay humble. Understanding what our beginnings, what our mission and vision is, and really help customers. And that's really what I want to do. That's part of, or that is the reason why this organization started, right? With my partners and I, because we wanted to be different. We want to bring the human aspect, from human resources into what we do, and really be, a true HR partner for organizations, versus just, another recruiting agency, or another person who's just coming in to do the contract work and get out. Right? We want to be that partner. We want to grow with a company, and on the contrary, I want to see where our clients are going to be in 5 years, right? And how we were part of that journey for them to grow, and see their success in 5 years. So I'm more concerned about them than I'm about us.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the success, the client first, because we as a company we grow with our clients. That's for sure. And
Yeah.
last advice, last message for all entrepreneurs, because we run out of time, Yuri.
Yeah.
But what will be this last thought on the side of an HR human resources specialist?
I would say is the human part of it, right? I think as we could go through our journeys, as entrepreneurs, we're gonna struggle. We're gonna have successes. We're gonna struggle again, and I think It goes back to what I said earlier. The human aspect of what we do, and the folks that are part of our journey, that are to get us and get these organizations, from a thought into to paper to being successful. Whether it's an internal, whether it's external, the people that you meet along the way. Always be humble, listen, um, and think about, as a leader that you will be, if you're not leading anybody at the moment in your business. What do you want that culture to be? What do you want that end result to be? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Right. And make sure that you have the right partners, that you create the right habits, from the beginning, to ensure that you navigate through this journey that's going to be a roller coaster, and hopefully successful at the end. So that would be the advice I would give, is the human aspect of it. And again, that's what we create ourselves to be, uh, you know the human aspect of the organization.
Yeah, for sure, Yuri. Also, well, in this end, thank you, Wise, for being there as this and Axie Bloom for presenting this show. Thank you very much, Yuri, and see you in the next time, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.